Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and how are you doing? I hope you're all doing very well today, wherever you are in the world. So, what I would like to do is I would like to announce that it will be my great pleasure once again to ask your input with respect to another viewer poll. So I would like to hold another viewer poll where I would like to ask you, what are your favorite examples of cover art from the Criterion collection? So what are your favorite examples of cover art design from the Criterion collection? And so what I'd like to ask you is please vote for your favorite cover designs from the Criterion collection. Now, I have made up a number of rules, guidelines that hopefully we can all follow just to help me with the process of counting the votes and all. So you can take a look at the rules in the description box below for written details. And so here are the rules for the poll. So you can submit up to 10 choices. So you can submit up to 10 choices. Anything over 10, I won't be accepting. And once again, I must ask for your understanding on this point, but it's merely because I am doing this on my own, and it's much easier for me to deal with 10 choices maximum rather than a number over 10. So I hope you can understand. Please forgive me if it's a difficult task, but I hope you can understand that 10 will be the limit. You can, of course, submit a number less than 10, should you choose, but nothing more than 10, please. So I ask for your understanding on that point. Please submit your choices as a comment to this video. Again, I'm doing this all on my own, so I will need to have all the votes assembled in one place where I can go and refer to the votes and then count them there. It's easier for me rather than going from video to video to video. So I will only count those votes that are sent as comments to this video. Please, yes, so again, I hope you can understand. And if you submit your votes elsewhere on another video, thank you very much, but I won't be counting those just because for purposes of this particular poll, I would like to have all the results or all the participants' choices all in one central location. So hopefully I can get your understanding on that as well. That being said, you can choose, if you like, to make your own video announcing your own choices for your favorite Criterion cover art. And you can, as long as you leave the link to that video, as long as you leave the link in the comments section below and let me know about that video, then I will be very happy to watch it from there. But just make sure you leave the link in the video, to the video in the description, or not the description, in the comment section below. The same is true if you want to make a list on, say, Letterboxd. Please leave the link to that particular Letterboxd page in the comment section below. Or if you want to answer in the form of a blog post for your own personal blog post, you can leave a link to the blog post in the comment section below. All I ask is you just leave the link in the comment section below, and then I can then click on it and then go from there. But everything should be, in any event, in one centralized location, that is the comment section. And let's see. Okay, so as far as the actual cover art is concerned, what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask you to, well, you can choose any format you want. In other words, Criterion has released a number of films, oftentimes on many different formats, starting from Laserdisc, for some even VHS tapes, but mostly Laserdiscs, and then now, of course, DVD and Blu-ray. And as some of you may know, depending on the particular release, the cover art might be a little bit different. But in any event, first I'd like to say you can pick cover art from any format in the Criterion collection. I'm okay with that. With respect to that, what I'd like to ask is, if you want to specify a cover art design from a particular release or a particular format, then what I ask is, if you are able to, please specify the format in question. So for example, if you want to say Branded to Kill cover art, the DVD cover art versus Branded to Kill Blu-ray cover art, there are two different cover arts. If you prefer the DVD cover art, just simply say Branded to Kill and then DVD or something like that. And then I will then know to count the DVD cover art of Branded to Kill and not the Blu-ray cover art to Branded to Kill. If you do not make any indication as to format, then I will assume that the vote is for the most recent physical media release of such title. So for instance, if I were to receive a vote that just said Branded to Kill, then I will assume that this means the most recent physical media release of Branded to Kill, which in this case happens to be the Blu-ray. So I will assume the Blu-ray cover art for that particular vote, Branded to Kill. That does not indicate any specific format. Again, this is all very interesting because for many titles, once again, there are many different formats, each with its own cover art. And so if you want to specify one over the other, just please let me know. Otherwise, I will assume the most recent physical media release of that particular title. And you can also vote for titles that you do not own. It's perfectly okay. There's no requirement that says that you have to own the title. But you, as long as it's something from the Criterion collection, that is fine. Also, you can vote for a title that has been officially announced by the Criterion collection, but as of the time of your voting has not yet been officially released. So what do I mean by this? So for example, Criterion, of course, makes announcements some months in advance with respect to those planned releases that it plans to make subsequently. So for instance, now we're probably going to get the next announcement for, February or March 2020, whatever the case may be. So a few months from now. And so those announcements usually come with depictions of the cover art or the planned cover art. If you want to choose one of those announced cover art designs for a title that has yet to be officially released, that is perfectly fine too. I am completely open to that. Although I should note that please keep in mind that it has been known that sometimes Criterion might change the cover art. In other words, Criterion might make an announcement for a particular title with one cover art design, but then ultimately use a completely different cover design art for the final product. This has happened on a number of occasions. For instance, it happened, I think, with the cover art for Clooney Brown, if you recall. The announced cover art was not what the final cover art ended up being for that particular release. Also, the same was true for something like The Tree of Life, or also Some Like It Hot, if you recall. So please keep that in mind. So if you are going to use announced cover art, then please keep in mind that the cover art might be subject to change depending on Criterion's final plan. So please keep that in mind when you cast your vote for an announced cover art. But of course, with that being said, if you want to do so, I am very happy and very open to accept those. Please also note that it is okay to vote for any Criterion cover art so long as it is an official release cover art. So as long as it's a cover art for a release that was made for an official release of a title, then that is perfectly fine. Sometimes we do get cover art designs that were ultimately not used. Sometimes we see glimpses of those, maybe online. As I said, the aforementioned issue of announced cover art versus differing final cover art, as the case may be. Or sometimes, there's the book, the Criterion Designs book, or sometimes we might see concept art, but that doesn't end up becoming the final version, if you know what I mean. So in order to avoid any confusion on my end, what I ask is please use only the official cover art. That is the cover art for the actual releases of films. Please don't use concept art or art that ended up not being the final product, that sort of thing. That will, again, just help me on my end trying to count the votes and all. So I hope that is clear. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Going back to the format, again, you can vote for any format you want, and I will also consider Criterion Channel cover art. Sometimes I understand that films that are available only on the Criterion Channel sometimes have their own artwork. So if you want to vote for that particular artwork of a film that's available only on the Criterion Channel, the streaming service of Criterion, I will accept those as well. So really, any format is okay, so long as it's the cover art that is the official release version of that, if you know what I mean. But other than that, as long as that's satisfied, any format is okay. And you can also vote for cover art for, let's say, a box set, a collector's set, an Eclipse set as a whole, or you can vote for an individual release in a particular box set as well, or an individual film that is housed within a box set. So what do I mean? So for example, many Eclipse sets have their own individual DVD covers for the films themselves. So you can choose to vote for the art for, let's say, the Eclipse set as a whole, or you can vote for the artwork for an individual film within that particular Eclipse set. It's really up to you. The same is true for, let's say, maybe a film like, I should say also that it doesn't necessarily have to be spine numbered. The films don't necessarily have to have their own individual release. So what do I mean by this? So for instance, maybe a box set has a spine number, and each of the films in the box set has its own spine number. So in that instance, you can choose to vote for the artwork for the box set, or you can choose to vote for the artwork for any individual release within that box set. The choice is up to you. The same is true for any box or collector's set which has individual films, but maybe those individual films have not enjoyed an individual release. So for instance, many of the films in the Bergman box set have not been released individually as physical media releases in the Criterion collection. Many, or I would say, yes, most of the films in the Godzilla set have not enjoyed an individual release in the Criterion collection. But there are individual films within each of these sets. And each of those films has accompanying it a kind of representative artwork for that particular film. The Godzilla films set comes to mind immediately. Each film on its own page in the book has its own artwork. So I will also allow you, if you want, to vote, for instance, for an individual film in a particular collector set that doesn't necessarily have its own individual release. Case in point, any of the Godzilla films, right? Because each of them has its own cover art that is located within the booklet itself. So if you wanted to vote, say, for the cover art for Mothra versus Godzilla, for instance, then you would be you would be able to do so, and I would accept that, no problem. So any film that has its own cover art design on a case, or maybe in a booklet, when it comes to its particular main page in a booklet or something like that, if it has its own representative cover art or representative shot of some kind, if you wanted to vote for that particular piece of art or photography, whatever the case may be, for that particular film, you are welcome to do so. And let's see. And I think that is it for now. You can also, here's one more rule. So you can also vote for, I think I said this before, but just in case, you can also vote for a box set art as a whole. I know sometimes artwork tends to go beyond the front cover. It might go to the spine or the back cover or inside as well. So you can vote for cover art of a box set or collector set that encompasses the entirety of the set, if you know what I mean, not necessarily just the front cover. The same is true, of course, for any individual release as well. You know, the individual Criterion releases tend to have artwork that spans beyond the front cover and goes to the back cover, goes to the inside, goes to the booklet or the leaflet or the pamphlet, whatever the case may be. And so you can consider those points as well, and thinking of that in the totality, in the whole, when casting your vote for that particular title. The choice is up to you, my friends. So I will leave it up to you as far as that is concerned, but also keep in mind that I think we can also say that the cover art itself, I think, is the thing that maybe best visually represents the Criterion title as it's being released in the collection itself. So that's kind of what I'm referring to when I ask, what is your favorite Criterion Collection cover art design or cover artwork? So that is generally my approach. So I'm sorry for all these guidelines and stuff, but I will leave all of these written down in the description box below. So if you have any questions, please feel free to refer to the description box below for any details. And maybe if you have any other questions, you can always ask me in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer. Once again, this is something that I'm just trying for the first time. I did a viewer poll before, but this poll is a little bit different because it's talking about cover art design, so I haven't quite done that yet. So I might make some mistakes along the way. It's just me by myself, and I will of course do my very best to count all the votes and to make sure everything is correct and accurate. But please keep in mind that I am not perfect, so I might make some missteps or mistakes along the way, purely accidental on my part. There's no purposeful thing that I will do. It's just, again, something that I don't mean to do, but I will try to avoid nonetheless. So with that, my friends, once again, the viewer poll is, what is your favorite Criterion Collection cover art design artwork in the collection? And it can be any format. We will have this poll open until the last day in February 2020. So the very last day in February 2020. By my count, it's a leap year, so that means the last day is February 29th, 2020, if I'm correct. If so, that gives us one extra day in February, so that should be very nice. But we will leave the poll open until the end of February 2020. So by my count from now, that gives us about 2.5 months or so. So hopefully that will give us enough time to take care of this. So anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoy this poll, and I hope that it is fun. That's the main purpose of this, my friends. It's just to have fun with the Criterion Collection, to enjoy it for what it is, what it means for all of us, and to hear your thoughts and comments about what kinds of artwork in particular you like or you enjoy. That's the stuff that I really want to hear from you, is what it is you like. And to hear your thoughts about that really makes me happy. And it makes me happy because it's yet another opportunity for me to learn something new about you. So with that, my friends, I hope to hear from you and your choices about your favorite Criterion Collection cover artwork, art designs. I would love to hear what it is you have to say. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now. So once again, please enjoy the poll. I hope you enjoy it anyway. And until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great, great, great movies. So until we meet again, my friends, cheers and so long.